What is up, y'all? Kevin Kuhn here from Athlete Factors. I'm here with an old friend, Kate Yahara from All In Wellness. Kate, how are you doing today?
Hey, Kevin. I am doing fantastic. It's a beautiful day here in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's a great day. Thanks for having me.
For sure. Thank you so much for joining me today. We go back all the way back to Cedarville University days.
Yep. 2005, our freshman year.
That's right. That's right. So tell us a little bit about your background, both, or I guess, academically, professionally, and then as it relates to fitness and the health and wellness industry.
Yeah, sure thing. I grew up in Anchorage, Alaska, actually. I was there for about 13 years and I transitioned down to Indiana when I was around 13 years old. My sister got a scholarship at Cedarville University in Ohio. So that's how I found Cedarville University, was through my older sister. But growing up, I was really active as a kid. My mom and dad had me in gymnastics at a young age. I could have gone the competitive route, but as most people know, gymnastics is a very stressful sport. So we decided that it wasn't a good fit for me. But thankfully, my parents kept me in organized sports at a young age. You know, I played indoor, outdoor soccer, basketball, softball, volleyball. But organized sports for me pretty much ended around the time I was 15. However, my mother, she's a big part of my story when it comes to health and wellness and my interest in exercise. But she opened her first Curves for Women franchise back in 2001. So around the time I was 14, 15. And that's really what sparked my interest in exercise. I was out on that little circuit early on when I was, again, about 15 years old, helping coach the women. I loved the idea of efficient and functional strength training, you know, keeping it simple, 3 times a week, 30 minutes each session. So really that catapulted me into majoring in exercise science at Cedarville University. And then from Cedarville, initially I did start as a biology major, but then I found that, you know, my passion was more specific to exercise and sports science. So took on the opportunity sophomore year to go through the exercise science program. Super thankful for it. You know, met you, Kevin, and a lot of other really great people in the industry. So once I graduated Cedarville, I became a personal trainer and I went back to living in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I was a personal trainer at a Lifetime Fitness for a little while. So that's where it took me from there.
Nice. So what I find really funny about how our paths have crossed or have at least crossed in very, very similar areas was obviously at Cedarville, but then in between my junior and senior year, I came down here to Dallas to do my undergrad internship at the Cooper Aerobics Center. Mm-hmm. And then senior year, once we were all back at Cedarville, I think you and I kind of had a conversation about internships, and you were like, hey, you know, do you think that they would take me at Cooper? And I was like, don't even worry about it.
I was so nervous.
Let me talk to the intern coordinator. And sure enough, Holly, good old Holly, she was like, Kevin, you let me know. I think you were the best intern ever. So you just let me know. Is she going to hack it here? And I was like, Holly, she's going to do awesome. So you got to intern at Cooper as well. And then you went to Indianapolis. And then I think as you were leaving Indianapolis, I moved to Indianapolis to do my graduate school internship with the Indiana Invaders. So it's funny how we kind of initially were in the same place and then went to similar areas and for very different reasons and all that.
Yeah,
but it's
definitely.
crazy.
Yeah, Cooper Aerobics Center. Yeah, I'll always be thankful for that intro. That was a fantastic opportunity, and that continued to layer on my interest in specifically female fitness, because I was a big part of the female fitness program that they had there during my time, and really had such a great opportunity to layer on that knowledge and, continue to bring me where I am today as far as my interest in working with women. So absolutely, yeah, our paths have crossed numerous times over the years. So it's cool to see that.
Sure. Yeah. One thing, like, I thought Cooper was super, super formative for even where I am today. Like, there's never a straight line path from where you are right now to where you want to be. It always kind of is a zigzag, but just about everybody that I know of who has been at Cooper in some capacity has been like, yeah, my eyes were open to this concept or to these ideas or to this part of the industry that, there's so much going on there, and
it really
I loved
is.
it.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
was incredible.
So thankful for that. Absolutely. Yeah. It definitely was a good transition to go from such a high caliber place like Cooper Aerobic Center, and then being able to have the confidence to go into a Lifetime Fitness, fresh out at 22, and be able to actually manage a 100% commission-based job. It's not for the faint of heart. And I definitely am thankful for that transition. For sure. So actually after Lifetime Fitness, and this might lead us into another unique conversation, because I ended up coming down to Texas where you were. I think you were in Dallas when I was in Austin. I might have that timeline mixed up a little bit. But after about a year of personal training at Lifetime Fitness, I knew there was another adventure, if you will, that I wanted to take. I was also very interested in food. So after a year at Lifetime Fitness, I decided to approach a culinary school program. So I actually found a plant-based culinary program down in Austin, Texas. I don't know if I would ever live in Austin, Texas. It's my friend and I always described it as when we were riding our bikes, riding through a town that you basically had a hot towel on you with a hot fan blowing on you.
Yeah.
But
hot and humid in Central Texas, that's for sure.
Definitely.
So you just kind of spur of the moment decided to do this whole plant-based thing, right? It had never been a part of your past before that. Is that correct?
Not a culinary program, if you will, but no, I'm glad you brought me back to that. Actually, when I was a freshman in college, my mom was really interested in pursuing a vegan diet. She has a chronic respiratory issue, and she at the time was just willing to do anything she could to help figure that out. So she found some different programs related specifically to a vegan plant-based diet. So I guess it was 2006. I think it was the spring break of my freshman year at Cedarville. I said, "Mom, I'll do a vegan diet with you for a week." And I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." And then after that week, I actually just never went back to eating animal protein at the time. So that did get me really interested in veganism and plant-based eating. So I was actually very strict vegan for about 5 years. So 2006 to 2011. We bought all the cookbooks. We actually even took a trip out to California to visit a well-known doctor in the plant-based space. So that was a really, really unique opportunity. And just, again, the layering of knowledge over the last 15 years is what I believe has fueled such a strong, sustainable, and healthy lifestyle that I live, as well as that I'm able to offer to my family. But yes, so absolutely, that is what fueled that interest into going to a plant-based culinary school. What's interesting, though, is I went to culinary school in 2011, and it was at that time, because it wasn't 100% vegan. It did have eggs, it did have dairy. At that time is pretty much when I started transitioning out of strict veganism and more into vegetarianism, while still minimizing the amount of dairy products that I consumed. It just was never a food group that really worked well for me. I had a lot of stomach issues when I was a young girl. So pretty much taking dairy out of my diet for strict 5 years did wonders for my gut health. But I was able to introduce it back in small amounts and not feel as many repercussions, which was really encouraging. It was really freeing that I didn't have to be so particular when I went to someone's house or went out to a restaurant and have this eerie feeling of, am I going to be sick later on? So that was really freeing. So, being so strict for 5 years, I think really did wonders for my health. So when I went to culinary school, it was nice to be able to, eat some eggs, a little bit of dairy, and not be like, oh my goodness, this is the worst thing ever. I can't believe people eat animal products. I was very strict. I don't really know how I came out of college with some friends, but I got pretty crazy out there, and I know those college friends will know who I'm talking about.
Well, I think part of that is you kind of broke the mold on the whole idea of like, so there's these memes that are like, okay, so it's based off the movie Fight Club. Like the first rule of Fight Club is never talk about Fight Club. Yeah. But like the meme is the first rule of CrossFit is you always have to talk about CrossFit. You always have to talk about it. And then like with veganism, like there's memes like that too. Like the first rule of veganism is you have to tell everybody. So
everybody.
Yeah. So I think you didn't shove it down everybody's throat. Hey, I'm a vegan. Like.
Yeah.
Before you'd introduce yourself, hey, I'm a vegan. Like that wasn't
right.
So
right. Yeah. But the people I lived with, they were pretty aware as far as in college. But they were always so amazing. When I would go to their house, they would make sure, I had a vegan dish or a non-dairy dish. So I had some good people around me. But yeah, culinary school was amazing. We explored several different elements of eating. We focused on veganism, vegetarianism, macrobiotics, Ayurvedic cooking, as well as raw living. So when I graduated out of culinary school, I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to go back to the fitness world and apply what I had learned around the idea of food and the energetics of food, or to go into the actual restaurant industry. I did end up going the restaurant industry route, which was an interesting play considering the restaurant and the bakeries that I got into were not vegan. So that was an interesting transition. It wasn't quite a natural transition, but I did that for about a year and a half. I moved to Pennsylvania after Austin, Texas to be near my family. But thankfully, I have a very, very good friend who I met in culinary school. Her name is Allison, and she currently runs her blog and her website, Natural Tasty Chef. She invited me out to live in California with her in 2013, and I was her sidekick as she really got her personal chef business going, and that felt amazing. It was such a good opportunity to be able to work with her and learn that business. And then I did end up transitioning to where I'm at now, which is North Carolina. And when I first moved here, I did go back into personal training. So I jumped around a little bit, but still with the overall arching theme of health and wellness, whether it be more on the fitness side or the food side. And to today, I still apply so much from what I learned from culinary school, from Cedarville Exercise Science, Cooper Aerobic Center, and again, that layering of experience has just been instrumental in where I'm at today. So
for sure, that's awesome. So, tell us a little bit about what you're currently doing in the industry, and tell us, I guess, what your niche is and how you're different from, let's say, the average Instagram influencer.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm doing today, I'm not full-time in the fitness industry. I'm a mother. I have one daughter. She's almost 5. She keeps me very busy. She loves fitness, actually. She's seen me work out from, day one and just lead a very active lifestyle, and the importance of the types of food that we eat. So that's my number one thing that I do, is that I am a mother of her, and she's amazing. She helps me be stronger and a better influence, both for myself and for her and her future. But outside of my full-time job in the sales world, I have my YouTube channel, All in Wellness. That's where you can find it. I feature at-home full-length workout videos. Back when I was expecting my little one, and I transitioned out of full-time personal training, going to a gym just wasn't feasible for me. So I had to make at-home workouts work. So over the past 5 years, I had followed other fitness professionals in the industry who offered at-home full-length workout videos on their YouTube channel. And it really just served me so well, getting up at 5:45, 6 a.m., getting my 30-minute workout in, then the little one wakes up, and, we go about our day as far as work and daycare. So after, I guess at that point, about 4 years of utilizing those workouts, I felt it was time for me to give back to the community in some way. So I launched my YouTube channel. My first workout was launched July 13th, 2019. So a little under a year, I guess, a couple months after you started your podcast, actually. So I did take a couple months off, but I recently just posted a new video. So I'm really excited to be back publishing at home full-length workouts. And again, even like this project, I make it work for me. The studio that I have set up, my background is actually in my living room. I have where I live is a smaller space, so the entire living room is padded with athletic pads, and I have a setup and got all my equipment there, because it's really about what are you passionate about and what are you willing to do to make it work. So, and again, this was just really important to me to create high quality fitness videos, both for friends and family who may not have access to me, but who, may text me or email me, hey, what do you think about this? Or what's the best move for that? I wanted to create content and have a resource for people that would forever live on, So, and I also in creating this workout channel, is really important to me to have something for my little one to see in the years to come. The importance of working on things that are important to you, that are going to take time for you to be able to, refine your craft and so forth. So that's what I'm doing on the side, outside of my full-time sales position. But my YouTube channel is very important to me. So in saying that, as far as what my niche is, I would say primarily my focus has always been women, but I will say I design my workout to possibly still appeal to men. I do, dynamic warm-ups that would appeal to, a man, not just female. So there's going to be certain moves, right? That, maybe men are like, I don't really want to do that move. So I do design my workouts in mind that, hey,
I don't
if
know what you're
Kevin
talking
got
about.
on my channel, you might want to do my workouts.
There are very few movements that I think should be segregated based on certain criteria, gender, like gender. But but I know exactly what you mean, because there tends to be a bit of ego when it comes to men and exercise, and I get it. So I know what you're talking about. But what I really appreciate about the way that you're setting up your channel and doing these videos is, like, there are a billion videos on YouTube that are 30 seconds in length to maybe 5 minutes in length. And I know that because when I'm shooting exercise videos, I try to keep them in that frame of time, let's say. It's really difficult to do a a recording of a full workout where you're not just doing the workout and, oh, by the way, there's a camera filming you, like where you're actually coaching through the movements, explaining cues, saying, you know, like, hey, if this is too easy, here's how you can make it more difficult. If this is too hard, here's how you can make it more appropriate for your level of fitness. And to do videos that are 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, etc., like, I don't think there's a lot of that available. So I think that's really, really awesome. And one reason why I thought it was important to have you on. So,
yeah,
tell
definitely.
tell us a little bit more about how you set up your programming for these workouts and what you kind of have planned for the future of the channel.
Yeah, definitely. Really good questions. So as far as how I program, you know, I do want to tap into what are people searching for on YouTube, because I don't want to just create these workouts and then no one be able to find them. So I do try to tune into what are keywords that people are searching for, what's not as popular on YouTube, but still has, you know, what has a high search volume, but lower content available, or maybe what content is not optimized. So I am by no means a YouTube expert, but I do dial into those things to, you know, give me ideas for what, you know, should be working well. I'm also, you know, looking at what workouts are performing well on my channel. What are workouts that people want to see more of? So right now in the early stages, I am looking at what are people searching for? What are people really enjoying on my channel? But so that's how, as far as I create, you know, this is why I did a 30-minute HIIT, you know, dumbbell workout, because that's what people are searching for. But then within that, you know, I program it in a way that will either be full body, you know, more of working the upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body. The blood is flowing the entire time. We're getting an efficient workout in, you know, if that way, if someone wants to go back to that single workout 3 times a week, you know, they've got 3 days of a solid workout under their belt versus, you know, just doing an upper body workout or a lower body workout. But I do have some, you know, just upper body workouts, just lower body, just core, because I still want to be able to be a resource for people who they may only have, they're just early in their fitness journey, and, you know, maybe they can only do 15 minutes of upper body workout. So I want to make sure that I'm encouraging people on my channel by having a wide array of what's available. Eventually, what I would love to do is to provide a 6-week, an 8-week, or a 12-week program that's a little bit more periodized, more not customized to a person, but more, hey, this is how we actually progress. So putting progressions in there. So right now I don't have that, but that would definitely be something that I would be looking to create. And maybe I put in a way of, hey, for 12 weeks, I'm going to be posting on my channel 3 times each week. That way, whenever you come to the channel, I can refer you, hey, start at week 1, day 1, and they can follow a calendar from there to promote their long-term fitness journey, as well as, you know, reduce the chances of getting injured, right? So making sure that they're starting at the very beginning. So that's definitely more of a short, long-term goal of mine, to program something like that. And that way, when someone comes to me, hey, Kate, you know, what should I do, or where should I start? You know, I have a resource ready to go for them that makes sense as far as exercise progression goes.
Yeah, I think that's another area where, like, you can open any fitness magazine and find a workout, right? You can look up a workout online. Like, you can find workouts anywhere. But as far as finding something that has progression and variation with a lot of different exercise variables over the course of time, where you're not just changing the amount of weight, but you're changing, you know, the work and the rest ratio. In other words, you're changing how long you're resting. You're changing, obviously, the weight. You're changing the frequency of exercise. You're changing the rep scheme. You're changing the set scheme. You're changing the timing of the contractions. You're like, there's all these different variables that
so many.
people try once because they try a workout, but they're not doing, you know, something that's going to actually show change because you're doing it consistently for, you know, 6, 8, 10 weeks, 12 weeks at a time, which as we both know, it takes that amount of time before you start to see physiological change, you know, within the muscle fiber itself, like the cross-sectional size of a muscle fiber or strength, aside from any neurological change, that doesn't take place until about 6 or 8 weeks.
Sure.
And then changes in soft tissue like tendons and ligaments, they take a little bit longer. And then changes in bone mineral density, they take even longer. So you have to look long-term if you want those things to change, and you've got to be consistent. So I think that's another area that's lacking in when it comes to content that's available. So I think you should definitely do that. You should get on it real quick before somebody else does.
Quick. Exactly. No, it's absolutely true. And it is so important to me. And again, I think that's what's allowed me to, you know, get stronger throughout the years, you know, maintain my own personal body weight, and the fact that, you know, that consistency is the key driver, you know. So there's a lot of, you know, like you said, you can do a workout, but if you're not working on behavioral modifications throughout your day, throughout your weeks, throughout the years, you know, it's going to be really hard to stay consistent. So there's a huge mindset piece there. There's a huge behavior modification piece there that not a lot of people are talking about. So that would be, you know, one thing that I do differentiate from, you know, the Instagram influencer is it is extremely important to me. And I know we've spoken about it, you know, it's really important for us fitness professionals in the fitness industry to make sure that we're protecting the integrity of the fitness industry and not putting outlandish workouts or, you know, ridiculous claims out there, because people want quick fixes. They want to be able to latch onto something. That's what, you know, they want to get those things. So it is really important to me to make sure that I'm protecting not only myself, but also the other fellow fitness professionals in the industry. So it is important to me to make sure that I'm putting out quality content, you know, still keeping it fun and exciting and things like that, but still being able to make sure, you know, I still follow sound approaches, you know, even though I'm not full-time in the fitness industry, I stay on top of my certifications because I'm putting myself out there as a fitness professional. So I would never let that lapse. Because again, we need to be credible sources, especially in the digital world. I mean, it's out there pretty much for life. So we've got to make sure we're putting out the right content.
Yeah, the claims we make and the things that we say and do don't just disappear. So it is extremely important, and people want, you know, fast results or faster results, let's say. And you got to be careful about the claims that are made. So but yeah, like
we're in it for the long haul.
Exactly.
We really are. And that's what I tell my friends and family, you know. It's an interesting approach, and obviously, you know, it's an interesting approach, and I've actually never said this to anyone except a couple friends. But when I look at myself, you know, right over 30 years old, you know, I would love to live till 100, right? Like let's be strong all the way up until 100 years old, right? So when I look at life, you know, obviously we can't plan exactly what's going to happen in our life, but I'm only 30. If I look at a scale of 100, like I still got, you know, 70 years in front of me, you know, God willing, right? But life is too short, yet we still have, you know, a good amount of time to make these changes now and not look at it as though you need a quick fix. You know, if I'm doing something right now that's detrimental to my health or, you know, not, you know, I think as a woman, you know, I think of something like osteoporosis or osteopenia, and that's not something that I ever want to experience. So I have to start making the the changes right now.
Yep.
You know, I'm someone who loves treats and sweets, and I could bake all day long. But if I'm, consuming too much over time, I don't want to have something in 20 years that may, bite me then. So I have to make those lifestyle changes and decisions right now. What's going to fuel me for the long run, not just the next 6 weeks, not just the next 12 weeks, even though those types of programs and, small subsets of time can change people's lives. But it's a matter of making sure that within those small time periods, we're making those behavior modifications, we're making those mindset shifts. So that way, again, we talked about it the other day. If I could have this much energy and look the way that I do in 30 years, 60 years, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing today, not do anything extreme for just a couple months that may be detrimental to my metabolism or to my joints or to something that my body just doesn't agree with.
Yeah, no, I see it all the time, especially on Instagram with these people who at least claim to be sport performance specialists, where all the training that they're doing is very flashy. It's very extreme looking. And like, is it phenomenal that they can do that? And they can record it and put it like, yes, I like watching it. I like seeing it. It's great. But very few people will be able to master that. So that's A. B,
absolutely.
What's the carryover to sport? Probably not a lot. And C, how long are you going to be able to get benefit from doing that? Like in 5 years, can you still do that? If not, then maybe it wasn't worth doing in the first place. Maybe it's better to pick exercises, stick with the fundamentals, because you can't get too good at squatting. You can't get too good at hinging. You can't get too good at pushing and pulling. You can't get too good at weighted carries. Like the bread and butter, the sorry to use this word, it might be offensive to you, but the meat and potatoes of training.
I love it.
What's the plant-based version of that?
Meat and potatoes, legumes and tempeh. Pea protein, that's out there.
I'm sorry I asked. I regret it. Anyway, you can't get too good at all of those things. So the more people we have promoting those things and building solid programming around those things and teaching the importance of those things, the better off everyone's going to be, in 30 years. So
yeah, absolutely. And to transition from the fitness back to the food, that was another reason that I wanted to become a little bit more relaxed around food, so I wasn't so about food and obsessed with it. I wanted to always enjoy the way that I eat. So for me, I'm not strict vegetarian like I was before. I would say I classify my eating habits as plant-based, considering I eat animal protein maybe twice a week or so at this point. And then, again, just, like we talked about, it's the incorporation of all of the grains, the beans, the fruits, and the vegetables. So again, finding something that you're going to be able to do long-term and lead a sustainable lifestyle. So again, box jumps every day for the next 3 years may not be great for your joints. Restricting carbohydrates to 30 grams every day is probably not sustainable. So again, everyone has to find the balance of what's going to work well for them. And I'm really thankful to have adopted the idea around a flexible eating plan, but eating foods that are going to fuel my body and make me feel good. I'm still not diving into a carton of ice cream or anything. That probably would not be a good idea. And then again, going out and running for an hour. I don't know if I could run an hour, but here I am talking to a long distance runner.
I'm not doing that right now.
Not anymore.
Nope. You won't find me doing that.
Yeah. So you found your way that's gonna, be able to fuel your body and your lifestyle for years to come, and that's another reason why I want to be in the space that I am, putting myself out there online, on a platform such as YouTube, because I am so passionate about helping people find that flexible and balanced approach to living. It doesn't have to be so complicated, and it doesn't have to feel like you're restricted all the time, or you have to be, on a cardio machine 7 days a week to get to the weight that you want. There's so many other avenues that you can take it, that again, and that's something that I say in most of my workouts. Hey, I may be grabbing a 10-pound dumbbell or 15-pound dumbbell, but do what works for you. This is your workout. Make it your own. Every once in a while, I'll say, hey, the beauty of doing an online workout is you can just press pause. So if you need a little bit extra rest than 30 seconds of what I'm showing in my video, feel free to do that. I want you to feel good after you leave a session with me. I don't want you to feel like, oh, I cannot move. I want you to feel energized and feeling good about yourself, and feeling like, hey, I'm strong. I can do this. I want to come back tomorrow and do another workout, or I want to come back in 2 days and do another great workout. So that's another way that I approach my program is, how am I going to let these people feel good at the end of the session, and that they can do it, and they are empowered with what their bodies are capable of doing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think there's enough people out there who are considered, quote unquote, tough trainers, who like to yell and who like to belittle and who like to say, you're always going to look this way unless you change things. And it's like, a lot of people don't need to hear that. Like, they need encouragement, and they need to be reassured that, like, okay, this is going to get me to my goals, and I need to keep doing that. But I may not, like, I'm not a cookie cutter version of everybody else, and I might need a little extra rest, or I might need, this change or that change. And but I think that is nice, because that gives them something to look forward to. Like, now they may have the goal set in mind, like, okay, I'm going to work as hard as I can until I get to the point where I don't need to take extra rest, or where I don't have to check down and exercise and make it easier, or, you know what I mean? So, people have different needs, and to assume that everybody needs to be yelled at, I think is no bueno. So
no,
I like that.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us how people can reach out to you if they have questions. How can they follow you on YouTube, on Instagram, etc.?
Yeah, definitely. I'm always looking for, to connect with new people that I can serve and share my resources with. So you can find me on YouTube. You can search All In Wellness, separate All In Wellness, or Kate Yahara. I'll pop right up. You can find me on Instagram, Kate_All In Wellness. I'm fairly active on my stories, at least several times a week. I post a couple times a week, usually about what I'm cooking, or, what I'm doing as far as fitness goes, and, staying hydrated. That's a huge thing as far as what I like to talk about on Instagram. On Facebook, for those who are only still on Facebook now, you can find my business page, All In Wellness with Kate. And then I do have a website, aiwcoach.com. There's a few recipes on there. It's not as robust as I would like it to be. So to your question earlier, something that I would like to build out a little bit more in 2020 is my recipe index. I have a few favorite people that I follow. I wouldn't say I'm a recipe developer, but usually I'll take a recipe and I will change at least 2 or 3 things. So I do have a few recipes on there you can find on my website, aiwcoach.com, and I have a couple other resources that you can check out as well. I do have a 4-week fitness calendar that I put together. It's based on, you can find that on my website. It's a 4-week fitness calendar that you can download, and then it's linked to my YouTube channel workouts, but it puts it in a way that makes sense. So there's 3 workouts per week, and it references 12 workouts on the channel for a period of 4 weeks. So
Nice.
I've gotten a lot of good feedback on it. It's been really fun to see people from church or people who I haven't seen in a really long time. They're like, hey, I'm, 2 weeks into your calendar and I'm feeling really great. So that's what
Nice.
fuels me to keep creating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
so
excellent.
definitely stop by. Would love to connect with you guys.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit real quick about what you're learning or focusing on improving right now.
Yeah.
That could be personally, industry related. Sorry, didn't mean to jump back in there, but.
No, that's good clarification. So, as we've talked, over the past little bit, managing a full-time corporate sales position with, being a full-time mother as well, with my partner as well. And then also wanting to create content and, do it well. A big thing that I'm always learning and trying to hone in on is time management. It's something that is ongoing for me. How do I make sure that I'm using my time wisely? That's actually what allowed me to get the YouTube channel started. I was not willing to give up my weekends hanging out with my family to film. So I actually squeezed in, I worked really closely nearby my place at the time, and I would come home and film on my lunch break. And that's actually what was allowed the bandwidth to be able to even create content. And then after the little one would go to bed, I would edit my videos. So that's how I was able to manage it. So always working on how can I make sure that I give everything the appropriate amount of time while not feeling depleted at the end of the day. So that's something that I'm always, trying to get better at, is that time management. And then on the cooking side of things, I'm learning a little bit more about baking yeasted gluten-free bread. I made my first loaf a couple weeks ago, and it actually turned out really well. So there's a great resource that I have for gluten-free baking. Not just, quick rise breads, like actual yeasted, you've got to let it, rise and all that jazz. So that's something that I'm learning on the side as well. So
Nice.
That's fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, to close out, thank you so much for your time up until now, but I've got one more question for you. So for everybody who's watching and listening right now, what is a piece of advice, a quote, or just something that you think is really important for everyone to hear?
So 2 things here, and this was shared with me, about 10 years ago, is, making the choice to become a better version of yourself every day. So what can I do differently today, or what can I be doing more of to become a better version of myself? And then earlier this year, I started piecing together some things that I've been learning through podcasts and books and through church sermons and things like that. But I kind of compiled the 4 C's and applied them to fitness and longevity and health. But the message I would share with anyone who's watching is know the 4 C's. So my 4 C's are that you are capable. You are capable of doing tough things. You are capable of changing your mindset, your behavior. You are capable of bigger things than you would imagine. And in that, be confident. Be confident that you can make those changes, that you can make better decisions for your life, that you are just confident in yourself as a person. And then within that, be consistent. So you've made your choices, you're confident that you can do it. And then, like we've talked about a lot in this session here, is be consistent. And then finally, within that, stay committed. So stay committed to the course, like we talked about a little bit ago. For me, thinking, in the grand scheme of things, 70 more years, what else can I accomplish? I've got to stay committed, stay the course, and make sure that I'm making daily actions today that are going to fuel my tomorrow and my future and benefit my family. So remember the 4 C's. You're capable, be confident, be consistent, and stay committed.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kate. This has been really fun to catch up.
Yeah, it's so fun to catch up with you.
Yes. So
brings
everybody
brings good memories back.
Yes.
Cedarville, Cooper Aerobic Center, Indiana, all the good stuff.
Oh yeah, I agree. So everybody watching and listening, go check out Kate right now. And if you have any questions for her, be sure to reach out to her. And
come work out with me.
Yes, go check out the channel and give her some feedback.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks,
we will
Kevin.
for sure. We will see everybody next week with the next episode. Alrighty, y'all. Take care.
See you guys. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.